So game number 2 about to start. Machine just one game away from advancing in the lower brackets. And, this is... I've seen a lot of Protoss players go after some super aggressive gateway timings on this map. I remember back in the IPO qualifiers, TT1 tried to hit a 9-gate timing on Terminus off of 2 base into Chef. And Chef had actually gone up to a quick 3 base. And because of the walk distances and the way that Chef was cutting off reinforcements, he was actually able to win. So Zerg players certainly have opportunities to win even in very, very abusive gateway timings on this map.
Yeah. Well, let's introduce the players, shall we?
Let's do it!
All right. You go first. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I will.
All right.
Over here at the 9 o'clock position on Terminus, we have our Teal Protoss player down 1-0 at the moment. He is alternate attacks, Socke.
And down at the bottom of the map, we have our pink Zerg player from the team Evil Geniuses. Can he close out the series? It is EG Machine.
All right, so here we have it now.
Yes.
And we did spawn at the 6 and 9 o'clock positions, as you mentioned, so be curious if those positions ever come into play in this game. And I've got to know what Zocke's plan is for this map.
Yeah.
Is it going to be some sort of warp prism play eventually, try and abuse the wide open spaces? He does have a pylon at the front, so he's either going to go after a very fast Nexus again or Forge Fast Expand, one way or the other.
You know, I think you may have actually just nailed it there with the warp prism idea. That's been something that a lot of Protoss players have been experimenting with. I don't personally know if Socke has been experimenting with it as well, but on this map, warp prisms have been doing extremely well, especially when you pair some DTs with that. Where Zergs have been doing well is when we've seen Zergs go for actually mute attack on this map, while at the same time taking expansions like, say, 1 at the 12 and 1 at the 3. It makes it really, really tough for Protoss to deal with all those expansions in a way that doesn't make them very exposed to the mutas. So,
very true.
I don't know, both races have pretty legit strategies on this map.
And we do have, Machine says he didn't see the rocket. The third, yeah, this is the more updated version of Terminus.
Right.
But, Socke puts down a pylon into the natural, forces Machine into putting up his spawning pool a little bit earlier than he would have liked. And it's going to require a few lings and queen production here in a second to take care of that.
Yeah, you know, the old response that a lot of Zergs would do is go and put their natural down at the 3rd base location. But, of course, this is the new version of this map. It's a little bit improved here just to...
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the hatchery and then the Evo chamber. I love that. So Machine's blocking his opponent right back.
Look at that. Yeah, Evo chamber just kind of hanging out. In case you guys didn't know, when you build a hatchery and cancel it, the creep lasts just long enough for you to build another building there that can start. And the cool thing, too, is that if Machine decides to let it finish...
and Sokke's putting a cannon down at his opponent's natural, so... tug of war going back and forth now as both players try to control their opponent's natural.
That's right. And the thing is once that Evo Chamber finally dies, the Broodlings are going to come out and do some damage to whatever is there as well, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, eventually that base will go down. There we have it. A photon cannon is up and in range of the evolution chamber, so it is going to fall eventually, and the Broodlings aren't going to be able to completely kill the photon cannon.
Yep. You know, just to kind of quickly go over the changes to this map, too, in case some of you out there aren't familiar with that. The changes are that the natural choke has been narrowed a little bit to make it easier for Protoss and Terran to wall off. And at the 3rd base, the rocks that used to be guarding this ramp into the 3rd have now been moved to the minerals to make you break that before putting it on the command center or whatever main building you have. And the ramp has been replaced by just a wall, too. So the 3rd is a little bit more protected than it used to be, but a little bit harder to take very early on.
But not like the very, very, very early versions of the map where you actually had nothing but just space sitting out there. So you can still abuse the cliff line a little bit. Yeah, but certainly not as much as it was before. And Socke does finally get up his own Nexus, so both players delayed subsequent expansions for about 3 minutes apiece, but nonetheless, Socke is going to be comfortably on 2 bases in a second. Cybernetics core is finished, and I imagine we're going to see Wargate tech here in a second.
Stargate, actually, again for Socke. Yep, decided to go for it again. Must be very confident in his Stargate play. You know, I'm going to say it again. I feel like Zerg players these days are just more than ready for the Stargate play.
Yeah. And Machine was plenty ready for it last time around. He already had the Evolution Chamber and Layer Tech coming in place by the time the Voidway. I said it.
Very quiet.
Anyway.
We're hunting Voidways.
Voidways are very, very effective.
Very powerful.
But anyway, so even before the Void Rays were revealed, though, Machine was already going to be well poised to be able to take out any air.
Yeah. You can see the Evo Chamber going down for Machine as well. He's going to have the spores out in time, I'm sure. Now, I will say that I feel like Terminus is a better map for Stargate play than Teldrim Altar is. So, you know, there's more spaces to kind of get out if you need to get out. So that's going to benefit Socke a little bit with that as well.
And this poor Overlord getting shot down.
Oh.
Stalker going to take this pacifist out of the fight. Not much you can do about it.
Hurts, don't
Bam.
it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Now Machine looks like he's ready to take a pretty quick 30. The Zerglings have taken down the rocks. That's what we've seen a lot of Zerg players doing, is just sending some Zerglings over early so that by the time they manage to kill the rocks by like lightly clawing them to death, they're about ready to take the base.
And I believe it was Artosis, I don't know who I heard say this the first time, but if your units are sitting around doing nothing anyway, you might as well make them useful. So take down those destructible rocks now while you have the chance and you're not forced or pressed to do it later on, and just get them cleared up.
Ooh, a Roach Warren for EG Machine. He looks like he might just try to break the wall that Socke has, and if Socke just stays on one cannon, that could happen pretty easily.
Yeah, certainly, especially because he did invest so much into Stargate Tech this time around as well. I mean, this almost harkens back to TSL 3 when Mondragon was playing, you know, I don't know if you remember the Mondragon list of counters, and it was Roach to everything. But we have a situation where something like that could happen. Yeah, you have Void Rays in the air, but if I do nothing but mass Roaches, you're not going to be able to build enough to stop me anyway.
That's interesting, because it's something that would normally not supposed to work, but in certain situations it does end up working okay. I like the decision by Socke to go ahead and get 2 Void Rays right away to kind of add to the DPS here.
And he is, well, the Void Rays are actually charged up at the moment, but it doesn't look like they want to engage these drones quite yet. Not going to move in against the Queens, and they actually are going to lose their charge.
Yep, well, better to keep them alive than kind of risk some damage to them as well. You know, you can still harass Overlords like this, still get that map control that we always talk about is so important in these matches. So there's other kind of side benefits to it all, I guess.
Yeah, you know, Machine actually only has 36 workers up. He's committed so much to tech. I mean, in the time we've been here, he's gone to an Evolution Chamber, which has only been used for spores. He's put up tons of spores. He's put up Roach Warren, Baneling Nest, Hydralisk Den, another base. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of structures invested in, and as a result, he just doesn't have that much supply in units at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, once the third gets up, oh, and speaking of the third getting up, it had to be canceled. The Void Rays putting up pressure on that to do it. The Stargate Tech is certainly working better this time, but look at this Machine researching drops, getting Hydras, getting Hydra range.
Yeah, but I can't feel that Socke is really making this work. I mean, just the fact that Machine invested so much into these spore calls. I mean, there's 4 at the natural right now. I mean, I realize that Zerg players can actually overcommit to these, but we saw what a good minimal defense plus investing in a nice counterattack did for Machine last game.
You know, I think right now he's content to sit on 2 bases. He'd like to take a third, but ultimately it looks like his plan is to do a Hydra drop in Sokke's base, which is a pretty common response to seeing a Protoss go for some kind of heavier airplay. The interesting thing, though, is Socke is actually not going for heavy airplay. He only made about 3 Phoenixes, a couple Void Rays. He is actually going for a Colossus follow-up with this, so the Hydra switch that Socke wanted Machine to do may have in fact been the wrong response.
And we'll find out if Machine's going to be able to make it work. He's actually loading up the drop right now. RoboBase about to finish. Oh, but there are Phoenixes ready to take this down.
No.
These Overlords could go down without dropping out any units. 1 Overlord falls.
And the second one's not going to get to drop off too many units either. Yeah, only a couple Hydras.
Oh, no.
Coming on the bottom there. And that's kind of a feeble little attacking force. That doesn't look too threatening really at all, actually.
Yeah, 5 Hydras and a couple of Lings. That's no good. Oh, and actually
he scared the Changeling right out of that Overseer there.
That was perfect timing on the sound effect, just as all quiet hit.
Yep. Changeling didn't last very long either. That was kind of a sad little life there.
Oh, man. I don't know why that cracked me up so much.
Well, these units are not going to last very long, are they?
No, they're really not. They're going to try and push their way out here in just a second, but we already have a Colossus finishing up and extended thermal lance hitting.
More Overlords getting caught on the way. This time they do kind of survive, though.
Yeah, so Machine's got a few Machine's got a few units, but I don't know, man. This still isn't a whole lot.
Yep, well, at least he's going to hit before there's more than one Colossus, but this is just not going to work at all, unfortunately, for Machine. GG, yeah, I mean, it was kind of an awkward game from the beginning for Evil Genius's Machine. He kind of played right into Socke's hands by going for the Hydralisk tech after he saw the Stargate tech from